Hey, what's up, everybody? Today we're talking draft huddle. What's up, Foots?
Man, Joe Rizzle in the place to be. Wow, Joe. Oh, just like that, news broke. And just like that, on a Friday, what was that? Midday, everything changed. And I won't say everything, but obviously the Allen Hurns signing, and we'll get to that and how that affects the draft. And it just so happened we were gonna rate these receivers, so here we go.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, yeah, man. Big news of the day. Allen Hurns trending on Twitter. It's something else, man. So, what's your initial thoughts, man? Like, what? I know you kind of covered him. We both kind of covered him already on our channel. So, I guess in talking, offline earlier today, have you thought about anything else and anything else that kind of jumps off to you as far as how this will affect the Cowboys or the draft or anything like that?
Yeah, I will recommend everybody to kind of just relax, take it in. We signed him to a 2-year deal. I'm hearing $12 million. So let's just take it in. The effects on the draft, the effects on the team. My initial thoughts, because you asked me like, have I really got a chance to process it? And we, like you said, we both covered it on our channel, Joe. My initial thoughts is, one, it's a crowded receiver room, and Dallas may not be done. And I think in the next coming weeks or in the draft, I think they could still hit receiver. And I think it's going to leave an odd man out. Now, who that is, we'll find out coming up soon. But just watching Allen Hurns, I think he's a perfect 2, if healthy. And I think that's what people are really forgetting. Right. Is that last year he wasn't healthy. 2016 he wasn't healthy all year. In 2015, obviously he had an amazing year. So what about you, Joe? Like, what are your thoughts on the signing?
Yeah, man, it's one of their bigger kind of hits in free agency. But like you said, that's the biggest thing is the injuries, durability, that kind of thing. So and it may be that's why they got Deontay Thompson, But like you said, eventually we're going to find out there's going to be an odd man out at some point. But I don't think it'll be immediately. I think some fans are expecting, somebody's going to get cut or traded tomorrow. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it just doesn't work like that, Joe. Again, so
yeah,
everybody who's listening to us, you guys kind of know. And even this deal, like, because we know the name, it sounds like it's a super, super big deal. Like, it's a super, super big thing. But when you really think about it, Joe, on the cheap, so you just got to play, like at this point, they signed them on the cheap. At this point, we got to play, as YouTubers and as people who basically cover the Cowboys now, and as fans, we got to figure out what's the next move, because this is like one of the first pawns to fall. So, like, are they setting themselves up for another move? They're definitely playing chess. So what's the next move, Joe? Is it, T. Will gone? Is it Dez gone and you're going to try to draft another player who could eventually be your 1 and you kind of run a system to where it's like you don't have a 1? Is it Cole Beasley gone? And me and you were talking about, like, during the draft, do they try to move Cole? You had to bring me back to life, and you were right, because I thought maybe we could maybe squeeze something for Cole Beasley, but teams may say no. I don't even know how he's going to get on the field with us. So I agree with you, Joe. So who's next? You think about Cole Beasley, you have 2 Cole Beasleys on the team.
All right.
So while everybody's thinking about Dez, maybe he's the next domino to fall.
Could be, yeah. Yeah, man.
It's going to be interesting, Joe.
Let me ask you this, man. This is a good conversation. Of the receivers that we have here, who hurts us? Like, which of these guys is hurting us when they're on the field? Who would you say?
Say that again, Joe. I think you broke up a little bit. Say it again.
Of these receivers, who hurts us the most on the field? Like, who's a liability out there when they're out there?
Oh, definitely Terrence Williams.
Yeah.
You saw the video, Joe. Body catching still. What is Terrence Williams? 7 years in the league. Still body catching, still costly turnovers, still kind of weird things. I've seen people say, he's a good blocker, or he's, he can, come on. You
Yeah.
know, you need more production out of it. You know what I mean? If you if you're looking at a receiver because he's a good blocker, that means that he's really not making plays. And I'll remind everybody that Terrence Williams didn't have a touchdown last year. So either that's Dak or that's Terrence. I'm afraid that this regime. I'm sad to let fans know, but this regime will probably say we're gonna bet our money with Dak and make everything around Dak as clean and as upgraded as possible. And frankly, Allen Hurns is an upgrade over Terrence Williams. It's not even a question.
Yeah, right on, man. Right on. Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. Terrence Williams, biggest liability. You know, bounces off his chest, bounces off his whatever he's trying to do. Interception is just very, very frustrating to watch, and I'm ready to jettison the player, man. I've been ready. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You know, he is the biggest problem out there, and then they're getting older, and it's time, man. And that's the thing I keep preaching too is, you know, the Reaper's here is coming. You know, they have to churn these receivers, and it's here. It's got to happen here. They can't keep putting it off, putting it off. You know, it's time.
Yeah, and I mean, you did give Terrence, I think was it a cheap contract last year, Joe?
Yeah, it
And
wasn't too bad. It wasn't backbreaking or nothing.
yeah, so I mean, it's not like it's a deal you can't get out of. And then Cole, if you cut him, two, you know what? A couple people on my page have kind of brought this to my attention. Both of them could go. I wouldn't be like super surprised if Terrence and Cole Beasley got cut. Because think about it. Ryan Switzer steps in for Terrence. For Cole. You have Allen Hurns now. He's on the roster, so you have Allen Hurns for Terrence. You know what I mean? You're not taking 7 guys to training camp. It's not happening.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gonna be interesting. And of course, the big monkey in the room is will Dez still be on the team? So, Cowboys fans, stay by your phone, stay by your. Me and Joe got you covered because some stuff gonna come down the pipeline, baby.
Definitely. You already know, man. So so we already covered the veterans on the team and what, kind of what we're thinking. This conversation can dovetail perfectly into what we're talking about here today is how it'll affect the Cowboys draft now. Okay, so we have Hurns, we have all these possibilities we talked about. What's your feeling right now, your gut feeling on this affecting the Cowboys draft plans?
Man, Joe, if you tell me that Calvin Ridley and Will Hernandez are sitting right there, I would pick Will Hernandez. I think that you've covered yourself at receiver. However, I think that watching tape, and Calvin has been, tied to the Cowboys for a long time, watching tape, seeing the explosiveness that he brings, knowing that, again, like you just said, Joe, got to keep turning the bottom of that roster, got to keep turning the receivers. If Dez isn't gone this year, it's going to be next year. Joe, as much as I would say, let's get Will Hernandez, let's rock, let's roll. I think that Jerry Jones would pick Calvin Ridley, even with you heard it here first on the Cowboys Huddle, even with them picking up Allen Hurns, because now you've covered yourself a receiver, you've gotten younger. So you got to watch Baltimore 16. Yeah, they're at 16, I believe, 16 or 17. But if they don't take Calvin Ridley, I think with him being the number one receiver and all this movement that's going to be happening in the draft, I think it's a real possibility, man. I really do.
No, I mean, you hit it right on the head with the Ravens. They're kind of a lot of these teams do similar moves that the Cowboys do. We're not the only team that gets players in place, and then you know what I'm saying. So they got Crabtree, right?
Yep.
So for them, they got Crabtree, but yeah, that's not going to stop them from taking Ridley. If that's what they want, they're going to get him. But if they don't, at least they know they have Crabtree in place. So it's exactly how I see the Cowboys. We've protected ourselves. If Ridley's there, maybe even if DJ Moore's there, a lot of people like him. I like him. I know you like him. So options,
He was my
man.
first scouting
Yeah.
report. Yeah, he was my first scouting report. You're right. Of
But
the
you,
season.
man, you know, you gotta love Will Hernandez. Fortify the line, and that's it. You're good. Zeke, he's gonna, you know, the buffet style. Okay, so we get him buffet style for Zeke, and then you can address wide receiver. Man, it's still kind of deep, man. It's not like it's a sneaky deep wide receiver class. You can get somebody good here that can contribute. You know.
No, I completely agree, Joe. And that's kind of why I'm torn, Joe. I'm so torn. This draft is going to be extremely interesting. So, Joe, have we narrowed down the three positions in the first three rounds saying Dallas doesn't make any movement? Have we narrowed those down?
Yeah, I think we've gone through offensive line, linebacker, or receiver, right? In any kind
Yes,
of
any order.
any combination, any round, those are probably your top picks there.
Let me ask you this, Joe. If you're let's say you have the linebacker that you love. We both love Evans. It's a very strong possibility he could be there unless somebody swoops up or somebody comes out of nowhere. Maybe Pittsburgh tries to jump you with the loss of Shazier for a year. But let's say there's Evans and there's Ridley. Who would Dallas take, Joe?
Evans are really, man. It's tough, like you said, man. It really, really is.
So
It could go anyways. Who would they take? I think they would.
conversations.
Yeah, and then they're both from Alabama, SEC. So you know, I don't know, man. That would be a coin flip for me, man. Honestly, but
It really would. It really would. It really would.
but
And these are
I
the
would think they would have Ridley higher on the board. I would think, but I'm not sure, man.
yeah, we probably should do a ranking show. Like maybe we'll have to do that for fans, just so everybody knows when we say higher on the board. Because just because you went to Alabama and you're watching this, or you like somebody's highlights, it's really about ranking. So quarterbacks always get pushed up. There, it's the most important position: quarterback and left tackle, the two most important positions in the draft. To me, that's what I was always taught, Joe. And so, like Joe said, ranking on the board. Then it's going to be corner. Then so it's just positional ranking. So where do you have a guy ranked as his position? Then the actual player, like, is the player better? Will the player actually make your team significantly better instantly? Like, will you feel the impact? So while you'll feel the impact of a linebacker, when you see Calvin Ridley streaking down the field or beating, Josh Norman, it's like that's what I mean by you'll feel that impact. So I don't know if that really makes sense, Joe, but I want people to understand, like, impact positions in the draft. Left tackle, quarterback. Well, quarterback, left tackle, corner. And then it's changed now, Joe, because, when we were drafting Ezekiel Elliott, we got killed. Why would you take a running back at 4? But the trends are changing that teams really want to take running backs and take chances on running backs,
Yeah.
So, with Todd Gurley and then Zeke, then, Fournette having a good year, and then obviously Saquon's going to go high. And, like, even, Joe, you've been really on top of it. These quarterbacks aren't good. You haven't changed, and that's what I respect about you. It's not like, if you turn on NFL Network, Joe, it's like they've just completely did a 180 on these quarterbacks. From these guys not even being second-round caliber players, some of them. Like, I remember I'll give you a quick example. Like, Josh Allen is not a first-round prospect, but he has the big arm. Maybe he's cleaned it up a little bit. He has the big arm. He's being compared to Wentz, and he's getting pushed up. If you don't take your time with Josh Allen, he's going to be a bust. You see what I'm saying? So you be on top of that.
Absolutely, man.
But these quarterbacks get pushed. They get pushed.
Yeah, and I think it's a dreadful class. I think it's 2011 all over again. Ponder, Gabbard. I've been saying it over and over. But there's no Cam Newton. But it's going to help us, man. I'm all for these crappy quarterbacks getting pushed up and drafted. It's going to help us, man. So that part I do like.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, man. I mean, some of these guys, they're just getting extremely overrated. Sam Darnold throwing in the rain against air. Come on, dude. You know,
Yeah, it's
Rip.
the
I like Sam Darnold. I like Sam. Baker's my highest. Like if I want to start my franchise, I'm gonna start it around Baker. I just think he's accurate. I think he's a gamer. Some of these guys, I think that people don't understand how much. That's why Dak is, and I've been critical of Dak this past year, but that's why his most valued kind of characteristic is that he's so cool under pressure. It's not too much for him. You know what I mean, Joe?
yeah.
He's an older kid because I don't think people understand. Like, you're really going into a locker room with grown men. You got to learn the playbook. You gotta learn all these things. You got to do all these things. Then you have a whole city on your back. You got to stay clean off the field. I mean, it's a lot, dude. It's a lot in a big market too, in New York.
Yeah,
Whoever they
absolutely.
draft.
Oh yeah, it makes a difference.
Yeah, huge difference.
Man, let me ask you this, dude. So like, we're talking about the first round, this wide receiver in play. It seems like the Cowboys have been chasing a linebacker since they missed out on Ryan Shazier. Worked out for us. We got Zach Martin, but you got to think that they're still looking at linebacker, and they're bringing some of these guys in, Evans, Van Der Esch. What's your thoughts on that, man? Do you think that with the Hurns coming back to Hurns, do you think this gives us more flexibility to go after the linebacker finally and get that guy?
I do, and I still think could possibly do something at receiver. But again, I do. I think if I had to bet my money, let's say Calvin Ridley's off the board. If I had to bet my money, I would say the first pick is going to be narrowed down between the guard, Will Hernandez, if he's there.
Right.
When he's there, you got to watch Seattle for Will Hernandez and Win for both of those players.
Yeah.
Or the linebacker. I don't have Van Der Esch rated higher than Rashaan Evans.
No.
He's weird. I think he's a back of the first round guy, early second. And I wouldn't want to overdraft him, but depending on how many first round grades you have in this class, you may, if that's like you want to hit that target need, you may have to pick him there because, like we've said, I'll give us credit, Joe, pat ourselves on the back. We've been on top of it. Like, this just isn't a deep linebacker class. Malik Jefferson, okay.
Yeah.
Chris Sam, Josie Jewell, I think he's just a guy.
Yeah.
Second round player. I like Jerome Baker. We were talking about him. He moves well. He's just kind of small. He has a slender frame to me.
Yeah.
Michael Kaiser is just okay. Mike McCray, Michigan kid. So it's not – Sitchy's Jack Sitchy's the one, but the injury history.
That's the big one.
So the talent – we can't play around with that. So the talent is like – it's really those top three guys, Edmonds, Smith, Rashaan Evans. And then the talent drops. And then Van Der Esch, depending on what you think about him, like watching his film, and I did a scouting report on him, I made myself fall in love with Van Der Esch, but would I take him over Rashaan Evans? Absolutely not. I'm really leaning towards making Rashaan Evans my one. It was Tremaine Edmonds, but I just keep finding things about Rashaan Evans' game that I like, especially for this team. A guy who, if a guard's coming at him head on, good luck. If a tackle tries to get on him, good luck. He plays with so much power. So I do, to answer, that's a long-winded answer, Joe, but, I do think that it frees them up to take the linebacker that they may want.
I'm with you, man. It seems like we're always on the same wavelength, and it's not, we don't disagree. Sometimes we do disagree, Foots and I. But, it is, man. It is. I think it comes down to guard. Like you said, Hernandez, Wynn, and then the linebackers. And then you go to work in the second and third round. But we'll see what happens with Ridley, man, in the first round. And DJ Moore, we gotta remember him. Is he still there? Do the Cowboys like him? So,
Joe, am I off on Josie Jewell? I may be off because you did a good video on him. What do you like? Is he a third for you? Is he a second?
I have him as a third, but the Cowboys tend to draft almost a half a round earlier. And since we're right there at 19, I wouldn't be surprised if he went there at 50 for the Cowboys. Honestly,
Okay.
it would be kind of like a Frederick kind of like deal. Like, well, this was a reach, the second round. They could have got him in the third, but they always say if you want a guy, draft the guy. So it depends how much they like him. How much do they like Jewel? Do they like him enough to use him at 50 if they're wiped out? I could see it happening, man, because it's like you said, the drop off is considerable, man. After you get past Jewel and these other guys, it's no man's land.
Yeah, and like even Malik Jefferson had a good combine, but his tape's all over the place. Great athlete, but he takes a lot of false steps. And I like him more as a will, where he doesn't have to make decisions as far as gap assignment wise. Just because I'd rather, but see, we need a true middle so we can have Sean and Jalen flow. For me, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, man, because this is a player that I think a lot of people have forgotten about because he was sent home during the combine with a heart issue. Maurice Hurst, how do you feel about this guy in the second round, right, at number 50, if he's there?
That would be a curveball, but I wouldn't be mad at it. If you watch me, I could listen. That was one of your first prospects, huh, Joe?
Yeah.
Hurst, watching your video, and I could show fans some highlights. We sit down and, oh, dang, look at Hurst. Look at that move. You talking about a quick, like a perfect 3. Now, what does that mean for Malik Collins? He's not a 1. But, man, he can get up the field, Joe. And he plays the run stout. And then they're saying that his medical recheck was good.
Yeah.
Will that scare some teams off? I wouldn't. That's a bargain in the second to me because he has first-round talent. And maybe you could do some things with him and Malik switching off. But, is he Aaron Donald? No. He reminds me a lot of Mike Daniels.
Mm-hmm.
Just like really twitchy, gonna battle every play, doesn't have to come off the field. So, yeah, I love Maurice Hurst.
I like him, man. Cowboys love that Big Ten for the defense. So it's like, it might just be one of those guys that falls right in their lap. Line him up there with Taco and go to work, man.
I do, Joe. And so I know there's a receiver. I wanted to just do my rankings real quick, just so everybody knows, because this is a very deep receiver class.
Absolutely.
And we could definitely hit it in a second. So for me, I got Calvin Ridley 1. I have Christian Kirk and DJ Moore. Basically, their tags are touching. So basically, Christian Kirk's kind of been like the forgotten guy, but he's a really good player. You did a film breakdown on him too, Joe, so you've been on top of it. Then I actually have James Washington. I have Cortland Sutton after James Washington, so that's my top 5. Then it's that second wave. DJ Chark, Michael Gallup, Dante Pettis, Deshaun Hamilton really helped himself at the Senior Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
There's some names. It's even some names if you think further down. Alden Tate, Jordan Lastly, UCLA. He had gotten some trouble. Jaleel Scott. I looked for Jaleel Scott to do some more at the Senior Bowl. Just didn't play with enough power. EQ St. Brown, your boy. So, like Joe's been saying, this is a deep receiver class. I know we're all over the place, but there could be a gem or two out of this draft class. It's not super top heavy because you were thinking of guys like Cortland Sutton, and I don't know what's happening with Cortland Sutton. People just haven't even been mentioning his name.
I think they're getting up to date with route running, that kind of thing. I don't see the Cowboys taking him.
No.
He doesn't interest me. He's not a target for me. I know guys do like him, and no offense to any of these fans, because some people get all uppity like, man, hey, you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's just opinions, all right. So, but he does have a good frame, and he'll go get that ball. It's like an Alshon Jeffrey type. But as far as the route running and that kind of thing, still we don't have time for that.
Yeah, I think that fans I kind of turned, which was weird because that was like the whole craze early. I mean, not early, but at one point in the league, like the big receiver who could jump, go get it. It's like when and some of those guys just haven't panned out. I always say Laquan Treadwell, Corey Coleman didn't really do much last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
White.
It is. It's a trend. You're right. Exactly.
I think the guys. I think fans see the Odell type, that quick, shifty soccer player type receiver. The problem is, I tell you, you gotta watch injuries, and you gotta know. Like I tell you, Calvin Ridley's. They may say he's 200 pounds. He's not 200 pounds. He's a slender 190.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's one of those things that's just like, you know what I mean, Joe? Like, just buyer beware. So that's with all of these quicker, shiftier guys. It's about. That's kind of why I like James Washington, because he showed a lot at the Senior Bowl that I just was like, wow, okay, James Washington running good routes. James Washington finishing at the ball. James Washington can get through press man.
Yeah.
So, hey, it's a name to watch.
It is a name to watch. Definitely a name to watch. Cowboys like the Big 12 in recent years, they have gone to the Big 12 for offense. Dez, Terrence Williams. They got Katie Cannon on a futures contract. They like to go to the Big 12 for some of these offensive guys. So, yeah, he's definitely in play. The 30 visits, that'll be a telltale sign, to see which receivers they're going to bring in here. They took a look at a lot of guys last year, and I think that was to prepare them for this year's receivers. And Sanjay Lal, they brought him in. You got to think that's got something to do with, get some fresh air there in the receivers with the new coach. If you bring in a rookie, everybody's fresh. There's no freaking, hey, watch out with this coach here. You know what I mean? Dooley, he's not going to do good. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff probably happens behind the scenes. You don't know. No,
definitely, Joe. Definitely, you spot on.
Yeah. But man, yeah, your receiver list, I like it too, man. That's where I'm at. I mean, it's the who's who, man. You got, you're good, man. From Cowboys could get a good receiver in the first 3 rounds, like a solid guy, man, and then you could roll the dice on people 4th, 5th round, that kind of thing. But
yeah, because when you start ranking these receivers, it's definitely like it's flavors. You see what I'm saying, Joe? It's flavors. It's okay. Do you like Christian Kirk a little bit better than DJ Moore, or you see what I'm saying? It's a flavors game.
It is.
It's not a right or wrong. It's not a who. It's flavors. It's do you like Deshaun Hamilton came and played well. So at the Senior Bowl, so he bumped his status. So it's just about what does your team need? What is your quarterback like? You want to make it Jared Goff friendly, or do you want to make it that person friendly, not just Dak friendly? Listen, everybody wants to make their receiver room friendly for their quarterback.
That's right. Exactly.
The fact of the matter is corners have caught up to receivers in the league. So you better have a guy who studies his craft. You better have a guy who understands the playbook. And you frankly, you better have a guy who knows what he's doing out there. That's what it boils down to. Because these corners are really, really good. And mixed with, the young and just flat out poor quarterback play in the league as of late, you got to come in ready. Got to come in ready. Got to come in healthy. So I do, to put a bow on everything, like the Allen Hurns signing is great. It's also a 2-year deal. It's also a guy who was hurt the last 2 years. So let's not act like Allen Hurns is going to come and change the world. I say all of that to say Dallas could definitely still draft a receiver, and somebody's going to be gone.
No doubt. Yeah.
That's it.
That is exactly what this is. At the end of the day, that's what it is. It's wide receivers definitely still in play. There's no doubt about it. You gotta get better there, and they can't keep putting it off. So,
I agree.
Still in play for sure, and I think we're gonna come out of this good, man. We're gonna come out of this good. I think for all the waiting that we did, a lot of fans got really, just, mad about the whole thing, to say the least, that we weren't making moves. But this one, I think this one is good for us in the long run.
I completely agree. I think that, like you said, a lot of fans weren't happy, like you said, with kind of our making moves in free agency. But they got to understand that's how this regime works. We're going to draft. So be prepared that, there's still a lot that could happen. There's going to be a lot of, speculation, Dez, this, that, and the third. Mike Fisher came out with that report about Will Dez could still be on the team. And so everybody's guess is as good as mine. We're just giving our opinions, like Joe said, and what we would do. I'm still pro Dez, even with Allen Hurns. He's not a true one. I'm working on some film for him. I'll have up shortly, but he's not like a super true one. But so I do think he's an upgrade over Terrence Williams, though. And you pair him with Dez, he can play some slot. You want him, you want him as your 2. But it'll be interesting, Joe. It's gonna be so interesting. It really is.
I know, the intrigue is just gonna be it's gonna be just something, man.
Yes, it
and we're gonna be on site. I mean, to top it off, what else could you ask for, right, Foots? This is gonna be a good time, man.
We're there, man. We're gonna do some shows. We're gonna be talking, Joe. Gonna have your boy with you. It's gonna be nice, man. It really is.
It's gonna be good, man. But I think that's all we have for you guys right now. Talking about Hurns and the receivers and that. So put your comments in there and let us know what you guys think. What do you think about these moves? Let us know in the comments for sure.
Any questions you guys have draft wise, we'll start hitting tight ends next week, Joe, or next talk, and then we'll just start getting into some scenarios. We're about
5 weeks.
5 weeks, man. We'll be there no time.
Absolutely.
So if you guys want to get caught up on any of our draft huddles, I was looking at our first one, Joe. We covered linebackers and stuff, and it's great, man. It's really great, and the growth of us is really good. So you guys make sure you just go check those out. Like you said, we check the comments, so definitely leave questions, please, and we'll hit them.
Absolutely, man. Well said, Foots. But that's it, guys. We will catch you for the next video. Peace.
Peace.